In today's video, we're going to be going over yet another PlayStation Store sale. Coming off of the totally digital sale, we have a brand new EA publisher sale. Yes, it's EA, but they do have some great deals available. However, there is a caveat that I should mention, and we'll talk about that as we talk about the sale. PlayStation Now's September update has been detailed, and it is looking awesome. Some high-quality PlayStation 4 games are being added, so you'll want to pay attention to that. But first up, let's talk the new EA publisher sale. A ton of great deals are available as a part of this. Now, the case with EA game deals at this point, you have to mention that EA Access is now available on PlayStation 4. I know some of you guys are just inherently against subscription services, so if you're one of those people, then pick up the games. If not, $30 for a year of EA Access is going to grant you access to, I think, every single one of these games. Yeah, every single one of them. So that might be something to look at. It's $30 a year or it's $5 a month. But with that out of the way, let's look at the deals themselves. Battlefield 5 is 60% off for $24. Really good deal on that, and BF5 is actually a pretty good game. Great campaign here. Battle Royale is pretty decent. The multiplayer has a lot of depth to it as well. Unfortunately, EA just butchered the marketing of this game. I could talk about that for hours and hours, but this game was a train wreck in terms of its marketing appeal, but the game itself turned out to be pretty good, and for $24, I think it's a good buy. EA Sports UFC 3 is 70% off for just $6. That's a really good deal. I mean, at this point, UFC 3 has aged a little bit. I believe it released back in early 2018, but still, $6 for that is without a doubt the cheapest I've seen it for, so I'd give that a look. Battlefield 4, 75% off for $5. The premium edition is $9.99. BF4's multiplayer, I don't know the abundance of players that are online at this point. I imagine it would be kind of dead, but I imagine there is still a core community playing the game. $5 for it isn't horrible. Burnout Paradise Remastered is 75% off for $5. You guys know how I feel about this game, even though it does have some dated elements, given that this game was released all the way back in January of 2008, and I kind of wish they would have remedied some of those issues. For example, if you do a race in the game and let's say you make a wrong turn, because it's all set in an open world, so it's very easy to lose your track, and you end up messing up the race, well, then you have to go all the way back. You have to drive all the way back to the starting point and then restart the race. Just a little bit of an annoyance, and there's a couple of other things like that in Burnout Paradise. However, the good definitely outweigh the bad here. It's an awesome arcade racing experience, and if you want something that's a little bit more laid back, it's just a lot of crashing, a lot of good music in here as well. I mean, music is incredibly subjective, but you got a wide variety of songs in there as well. $5 for Burnout Paradise Remastered, I think, is a great buy. Need for Speed Payback, the Deluxe Edition is $15. I thought that game was a little bit better than most people called it for. I mean, is it the best Need for Speed game? No, not at all, but $15 for that isn't all too bad. Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition is 75% off for $10. Obviously, everybody and their mother seemingly has a negative opinion about BioWare right now. However, Dragon Age Inquisition was a rather good game. Some people will look at it to be the weakest of the Dragon Age series. I don't think that's the case. I do think it's weaker than Dragon Age Origins, but stronger than Dragon Age 2. Inquisition overall I thought was a good game, had a sizable amount of content, gameplay was pretty good, and the story was relatively good as well, especially compared to games like Mass Effect Andromeda. The Game of the Year Edition also includes a sizable amount of additional content, and to get all that for $9.99 is pretty good. Titanfall 2, the Ultimate Edition, is $7.49. That's 75% off. We've talked about Titanfall 2 at length, but it's a great multiplayer shooter. And the thing about Titanfall 2 is it actually has a very good single-player campaign as well. I think that is a little bit of an underrated element in Titanfall 2, so if you just want a pretty decent single-player first-person shooter campaign, something that is a little bit short but engaging all the same, $7.49 for Titanfall 2 I think is pretty good. A Way Out is 40% off for $17.99. The thing with this game on EA Access, I believe, if you do want to go through the game, both members have to have an EA Access subscription. I believe that's how it works. Obviously, if you buy A Way Out on the PlayStation Store, you get a buddy invite, and you can invite someone to play with you for free, so that is something I wanted to note. $17.99 is still kind of expensive for the game, given that it's north of a year old at this point, but it's a tremendous cooperative experience, and if you want a high-quality co-op game, you can't go wrong with that. Anthem Standard Edition is 60% off for $24. That's just a bad deal, given that game was down to $9.99 as a part of a GameStop sale pretty recently. So $24, absolutely stay away. If you want Anthem, you can find it dirt cheap at this point. $24 is not dirt cheap, so stay away from that. Need for Speed Rivals and Need for Speed 2015 are 75% off a pop. They're $4.99 each. Pretty good there. I thought Rivals was a pretty good game, so if you want to go back and play that, not a bad call. Mass Effect Andromeda Deluxe Recruit Edition is 75% off for $9.99. I know I just crapped on this game while talking about Dragon Age Inquisition. However, in the case of Andromeda, this is a game that if you don't pay $60 for. If you don't attach it to the Mass Effect trilogy, which was incredible, and you just go into it blind, if you go into it open-minded, it's not absolutely terrible. If you want to check it out, $9.99 is pretty cheap, and there are some elements of Mass Effect Andromeda that are pretty good. It's just that it is nowhere near the quality caliber of Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. Comparing it to a game like Mass Effect 2 would just be laughable, considering ME2 to a lot of people is considered to be one of the best RPGs ever made. You can make an argument that it is, let's not get into that debate right now, but nonetheless, Andromeda $9.99, and the standard edition is also available for $7.49 if that is going to be a little bit more up your alley. All of the Sims 4 content is deeply discounted if you want to check that out. Be my guest, Battlefield 1 Revolution is $9.99. Star Wars Battlefront 2, 70% off for $7.49. EA did a number with the promotion of that game as well, but DICE has done a pretty good job in keeping the game updated, adding content, and remedying a lot of the issues. Really, a lot of the issues were remedied from the get-go, and when Star Wars Battlefront 2 dropped on day one, it was a pretty decent game. But give it to EA to absolutely butcher a franchise like Battlefront, which was literally handed to them on a silver platter to print money, but they messed it up, go figure. Battlefront 2 for $7.49, not a bad deal. You can get Dragon Age Inquisition, the Deluxe Edition, for $6 as well. That's really good. And there are some PlayStation 3 games on sale as well if you want to check those out. Maybe they'll be backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5, who knows? But there you have it with the EA sale. Give that a look. I know I rambled quite a bit about that, but I wanted to give each game a little bit of a shine, considering we're not going to be looking at this sale in depth in a future video. Alright, also I do want to quickly go over the PlayStation Now September update, and the September update is looking really good. If you have a PlayStation Now subscription, they are adding some really good PlayStation 4 games, and you can download the PS4 games directly, so that is some good stuff. Highlighting the September update has to be Gravity Rush 2, a game that I constantly go to bat for. It does my heart harm that this game did not do very well from a commercial standpoint. Gravity Rush in general is probably going to go to the wayside, and it's going to be one of those franchises that 10 years from now people are going to look back on and say, whatever happened to Gravity Rush? And I do think it's a franchise that over the years is going to have that cult following, but Gravity Rush 2 was such a tremendous game. Visually, gameplay-wise, the story was pretty good. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about it, and if you do have a PS Now subscription and you never played Gravity Rush 2, do yourself a favor and play that. Little Big Planet 3 is also being added. That's great. Little Big Planet 3 wasn't as well received as Little Big Planet 2 or Little Big Planet 1, maybe because the novelty of LBP just wore off a little bit, but LBP 3 is still a really good game, and it has all that creation tools. It has a good single player mode. If you haven't played LBP 3, because I know a lot of you guys checked out LBP 1 and 2, and then LBP 3 again kind of went to the wayside, give LBP 3 a look. There's definitely fun to be had. Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition is being added as well. Arguably the worst title for a remastered game of all time. However, Red Faction Guerrilla is an awesome game. An open world game where you can really let loose. You can destroy just about anything. You got this sledgehammer and you can beat the hell out of people. It's just a lot of fun. If you want a game that exemplifies that fun factor in a video game, Red Faction Guerrilla definitely has that. The story's not going to stand out at all. Some cliche moments in there, but from a gameplay standpoint, Red Faction Guerrilla is incredibly strong, and I definitely check it out. Vampire is also added. How could I mention this kind of halfway through? Don't Nod Entertainment's Vampire is an awesome game. I've recommended it a couple times. From a story standpoint, the gameplay does leave a little bit to be desired, but Don't Nod generally, of course, they are known for compelling storylines, and Vampire definitely has that. Some awesome voice acting in the game as well, and the main character, Jonathan Reed, he's a pretty cool dude as well, and a pretty engaging MC to take you through the story, and a lot of decisions to be made in the game as well. As a PS Now title, it is pretty good to try out. A couple of other games added, just to go through them quickly. D-Blob has been added, pretty cool Wii game. Farming Simulator 19, that's a nice game to just have in the PS Now library. Mud Runner, Ride 3, The Surge, which is a big one as well, really ahead of the release of The Surge 2, very timely to add that. And The Surge is a pretty good little game, often compared to the Souls titles, but definitely offers its own flair with the sci-fi setting. If you want to see what all the fuss is about, especially ahead of The Surge 2, definitely give that game a look. And Titan Quest is also added, so that's pretty good. The most played games of PS Now during the month of August, I always like to go through these because I find it relatively interesting. Fallout 4, NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, Rocket League, Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat 10, Wolfenstein The New Order, Mafia 3, Doom, Sniper Elite 4, Borderlands The Handsome Collection, and For Honor. You can obviously try out PlayStation Now with a 7-day free trial if you haven't checked it out before. A lot of good games on it. Unfortunately, the regular price is $19.99 a month, which is a little bit steep of an asking price given that Game Pass is only $9.99. You can make the argument about which service is better. I probably would side with Game Pass. When you look at the game lineup, it's a little bit better, considering it's got games like DMC 5, Monster Hunter World, Gears 5 is about to be added. The Game Pass lineup is pretty stacked, and it's only $9.99 a month. PlayStation Now, on the other hand, $20 a month, although you can find it on sale for like $80 for a year, and I imagine come Black Friday, it'll be available around that price, so waiting to start your subscription might end up paying dividends. It probably will, so just keep that in mind. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, the PlayStation Store is running a pretty good EA publisher sale right now. It's EA, but they've got some decent games and some decent prices as a part of this sale as well. And PS Now's September update looks pretty great. Gravity Rush 2, Vampire, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, The Surge, Ride 3, and a couple of other titles, LBP 3 of course. So if you have a PS Now subscription, definitely do give the titles added a look, and if you don't have a subscription, maybe this wins you over, but again, it'll pay dividends if you do wait a little bit. Black Friday time, you could probably get a year for $80. But do check out the 7-day free trial if you have yet to. You are going to need a pretty strong internet connection if you want to stream the games, but all the PS4 games are downloadable directly, so you can have the best of both worlds on that end. And that's going to conclude this video. Do sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.